It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to Master Chief Lentz's retirement ceremony at Naval School Explosive Ordnance Disposal. What do you say we kick this thing off with a demolition shot? Justin and Colin, come on up and assist Chief Hayden, please.
Sound off, Mud. Better sound off.
Final, final, final.
Just like the Air Force.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Please rise for the arrival of the official party, our national anthem, and remain standing for the invocation. Master Chief Petty Officer, United States Navy, arriving. Explosive Ordnance Disposal, Group 1, arriving. If everyone would kindly turn around and face the main building and remain standing as we salute our flag with a guitar rendition of the national anthem provided by Master Chief Matt Strong. Military, present arms. Order, arms.
Hey, so as I'm getting myself squared away here, I want to first start out by saying, Master Chief Matt Strawn, I'm so impressed on how you played our national anthem. So let's give him a big hoo-yah. So, hoo-yah, Master Chief Strawn! All right. I knew I was in good presence, so you knew what to do, so that's good. That was test one, by the way. Mike and Angie, words cannot describe what a great honor it is for me to be here today to preside over your retirement. As I look out to the audience, it is very clear to me that today is very much a family affair. And in many ways, it is the end of chapter 1 of a beautiful love story. I'd like to personally welcome all the distinguished guests, and most importantly, Master Chief Mike Lentz and Angie's family that has family and friends who have come a long way to be here with us today. Angie, I know that I'm not supposed to talk about your upcoming birthday, but I just want to let everybody know that Angie is not going to have a birthday here in a few months as she turns 40. So do not bring that up. Angie, I want you to know that Mike shared with me, and I think you know this, he thinks that you're an incredible woman and that he is very lucky to have met you. And none of this would have been possible without you. And I'm sure you've heard it before, but I just want to double tap the effort and say it again today. Thank you for everything you've done. We also have Justin here today. He recently graduated from Florida State University, lives in Colorado Springs, and is working towards being a physician's assistant. And he's also accompanied with his bride-to-be, Natalie. Can I just throw that out there? No? Okay. Keep working. Keep working. Hey, she's here. She's here, right? And not even the bad weather can keep you guys away from being here today. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Colin is also here with us today. He recently graduated from Nashville High School, and very much like his father, being the ultimate capitalist, he's trying to start up his own business. So, stick with it. And he too here is with his bride-to-be, Maddie. So, hey, you know what? Good people should reproduce often. But, wait for marriage. That keeps our country strong, I'm telling you. And I'll tell you, Master Chief sitting up here, he knows what I'm talking about, because the very first time that Angie brought Mike over, he was not too happy with this young sailor that was trying to date his daughter. And but I will tell you that after all these years, almost, 26 years, I believe, they're a beautiful couple. So I just want to recognize Angie's parents who are here today, both Master Chief Jim Waddell, and Waddell, and his mom Pat for coming here. Also, we want to recognize Mike's mom, Shirley, and her wife Deb is here, and his stepmom, Ginger Lentz, is here. Mike's father passed away about 9 years ago, but I have no doubt that he is now looking upon us from heaven with a huge smile on his face for all the accomplishments that Mike and Angie have had all these years. And so he may not be here physically, but he's definitely here spiritually. So my message to the family is this. Each of you have played a special role in the lives of Team Lentz. Thank you for sharing them with us and for helping mold them into the great people they've become. You should all be very proud of your accomplishments, because we certainly are. And in my case, I would not be here today wearing this EOD warfare insignia and these captain's bars if it were not for Master Chief Mike Lentz and Angie. They helped shape me to who I am today. And oh, by the way, my goal here today is to get through these remarks without choking up with emotion. As you know, us Latinos are very passionate people. and we internalize the moment, and often it's displayed with great emotion. I'm sure you've seen soccer games. You know, when the ball goes into the net, it's not a simple goal. It's goal, right? So, and to make things worse, my wife Melinda last Christmas got me one of these DNA kits, and come find out I'm 6% Irish as well. So this combination of Latino and Irish, that's a emotionally dangerous combination. Therefore, it's fitting that I dig deep into my Irish roots and find the right words to describe the journey that Mike, Angie, and their two sons, Justin and Colin, have been through the last 3 decades. So there's an old Irish song that comes to mind. Don't get nervous. I'll keep it clean. I know there's some kids in the audience, right? And I know there's some students too, and I know that at NAV School EOD, our instructors would never use profanity around our students, right? So the Irish song that captures this being a family affair is called The Voyage. I don't know if you guys have heard The Voyage before, but I'm going to say the words because all my drinking friends know that I can't sing when I am sober. However, maybe someday, maybe if you're lucky, I'll sing them to you, but for now I'll say the words. And the words go like this. Life is a journey, and love is a boat. In troubled waters, it keeps us afloat. When we started the journey, there was just you and me. Now gathered around us, we have a whole crew. So let's hear it for the crew. Let's hear it for the Team Lentz crew. I want to add my compliments and my appreciation to the warfighters here at NAV School EOD. A Chief, Mike Lentz, and a Lieutenant, Oscar Rojas, began their relationship right here at NAV School EOD almost 18 years ago. Neither one of us at that time had a clue that our past would take us right back to where the relationship first started. However, we did know 2 things at that time. One was that a Chief, Mike Lentz, was a much better mentor for our sailors than Lieutenant Rojas was. And oh, by the way, he still is. And the second thing was that we were both very lucky to have met wonderful women so early on in our lives, and we married up. Angie has been with Master Chief Lentz for about 28 years now. And congratulations on your recent 26th wedding anniversary. Angie, in my opinion, you two have honorably served our military for 26 years. Even through those 6 or 7 moves around the world, you are still by Mike's side. And as we reflect on Mike's and Angie's accomplishments, it is obvious that their greatest accomplishment is raising their boys, Justin and Colin. Angie, for all your years of service and sacrifice, we thank you and we honor you today. Justin and Colin, you know firsthand the sacrifices you've made, and it goes a long way to explaining on how your dad has become such a tremendous leader. You played a role in shaping Master Chief Lentz to become one of our most respected mentors and warfighters within our Navy EOD community. You share your dad with our great nation, and in return, you have earned the right to exercise the freedoms to live your life however you choose and live out your great American dream. In so many ways, you symbolize what the great American dream is all about. Thank you for serving. Okay, I'm going to shift gears now. We're going to roast Mike Lentz. No.
There'll be plenty of that this afternoon. I'm pretty good.
All right, I'll address the most honorable Master Chief Lentz. Master Chief Lentz's career has followed an extraordinary arc of holding multiple leadership positions within the Navy EOD community. He's conducted research and development in the next generation iCloud technology to train our warfighters. and he's also trained hundreds, if not thousands, of next-generation EOD operators for combat. But in my opinion, his most enduring contribution came after 9/11. Since terrorists attacked our nation, he has been running full sprint to defend us all. Therefore, it is fitting that we conduct this retirement right here on the hallowed grounds of the EOD Memorial. For me, it is difficult to not think about the many challenges the Navy EOD community has had over the last 17 years in combat. Therefore, this morning, I want to share a very personal story with you. So if you could, please indulge me and think back and reflect to May of 2006. Can you think back where you were in May of 2006? I found myself reporting to EOD Unit 5 out in Guam as the operations officer. That's the second time that I met, at that point, a senior chief, Mike Lentz. That assignment at EOD Unit 5 as the operations officer is by far the most challenging assignment I have had throughout my entire military career, to include my current assignment as Commodore of EOD Group 1. The main reason was due to the ramp up to the Iraq surge that occurred in January of 2007. In the context of the Iraq War, the surge refers to when President George W. Bush increased the number of American troops in Iraq in order to provide increased security to Baghdad and Al-Anbar province. Therefore, for Department of Defense, it was an all-hands-on-deck effort that forced Navy EOD community to step up and to deploy to Iraq in support of combat operations. This surge forced Senior Chief Lentz, while serving as an EOD platoon leading Chief Petty Officer, to conduct a compressed training cycle. At the time, the normal training cycle took about 18 months. But due to the surge, EOD Mobile Unit 5, and led by a Senior Chief Mike Lentz, we compressed that 18-month training cycle down to only 12 weeks. Therefore, we were all very busy working day and night, often 18 to 20-hour days. Those long work days took a heavy toll on many relationships with family members. Therefore, the stresses and the anxiety, furthermore, the stresses and anxiety increased monthly, not because of the long work days, but because in July of 2006, EOD Mobile Unit 8 experienced their first casualty, and that was EOD 2 Austin Cove. And his name's on that wall. The next month, in August, EOD Mobile Unit 11 also experienced their first casualty. That's Chief Darga. His name's on that wall. In the month of September, EOD Mobile Unit 2 experienced their first casualty, EOD 2 Roddy. His name too is on that wall. For me, with each Navy EOD casualty, the weight of sending EOD Mobile Unit 5 operators into harm's way increased exponentially. Fortunately for me, this is when a Senior Chief Mike Lentz, his calm demeanor, tenacious work ethics, saved me from having a total nervous breakdown. He fully prepared his team to deploy. He kept morale up and successfully deployed to Iraq. He doesn't like to brag about himself. You guys know Mike Lentz. He's very humble, and he'll never tell you any of this stuff. But I'm going to read a citation here for his deployment to Iraq. And I'm going to just capture the main parts. The first part I want to capture is the dates on this. From August 2006 to February 2007. That was a height as we started that surge. It was a really dangerous period in our effort in Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The other thing that I want to highlight on this citation is that it's a Bronze Star with a combat distinguishing device with valor because of his actions. And then the next thing I want to highlight is who signed it. There's this guy named Lieutenant General Mattis, Jim Mattis. You may have heard of him at some point. By the way, he got promoted several times after that. But this is what General Mattis had to say about Senior Chief Mike Lentz. He deployed to Iraq in support of the 1st Marine Expeditionary Force. He led the execution of over 505 explosive ordnance disposal missions, denying the enemy use of over 13,700 pounds of explosives, and personally conducted 205 explosive ordnance disposal missions, including neutralizing 102 improvised explosive devices. He exposed himself to imminent threats from improvised explosive devices, small arms fire, snipers, and grenade attacks on a daily basis. But on 9 November, Senior Chief Lentz did something that's pretty damn heroic. On 9 November, the tactical situation forced him to conduct an essential but dangerous manual approach on an improvised rocket launcher suspended from a bridge targeting coalition forces watercrafts. So think about this. He goes out there in the environment. There's a bridge, there's an improvised rocket launcher that is targeting our forces down in the water. He exposed himself with sniper fires coming at him. He'll never tell you any of this. But I think it's important that we recognize how he exposed himself to the threat. And his efforts prevented numerous of improvised explosive device attacks on coalition forces and contributed significantly to the success of the operation. Senior Chief Petty Officer Lentz's courageous actions and exceptional dedication to duty reflected great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the naval service. That's pretty hoo-yah, right? That is a real American badass right there, I'll tell you. For the past 30 years, Mike, you've served in multiple EOD mobile units and shore commands with distinction. You've shouldered an enormous burden for an exceptionally long time. In each day of your long and distinguished career, you've made every minute matter. It's been a genuine privilege to serve with you throughout the years, and that's what brings us here today. You'd have to reach a long way to find a leader who has had such a transformational impact in history on how we fight and defend our nation as Mike has. I have to be honest though, this is a hard day for the entire Navy EOD community. As we say goodbye, you are a true shipmate, an incredible role model, a great leader, and faithful friend. I will miss you, as will thousands of sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines. Those of you who have spent any time with Master Chief Lentz know firsthand that he is charismatic, selfless, and a passionate leader who positively impacts each and every person that he meets. And above all else, loves the Navy. And while I can't quantify how many lives you have saved, I can say that due to your leadership and mentorship, you have kept hundreds of names, maybe thousands of names, off this wall in front of us. You are the kind of person who puts the good of the institution ahead of your own interests, and you're not afraid to speak truth to power. You can't teach that, and as a leader, you can't put a price tag on what that means. And while it's hard leaving something that you truly love, that you have spent 30 years doing, all I can say is that you should take solace in knowing that you have blazed a trail for many young men and women who will come behind you. The impact you've made on people throughout your career will manifest itself for years to come as you see those you've mentored succeed because you led them, and that includes me. Mike, it's truly been an honor to work alongside you over the last 17, 18 years, to see you interact with our sailors, your love for the Navy, the love that you have for your family, and above all, to learn from you. On behalf of the thousands of warfighters you have influenced, loved, and led, thank you for the past 3 decades of putting on the cloth of our nation every single day, for the pride you have brought to the world's greatest nuclear-powered Navy, and for being the definition of a servant leader that many will emulate for decades to come. We owe you a thanks and gratitude, my friend. God bless you. God bless your family. And thank you for the privilege of serving with you. Godspeed. Booyah, Team Lentz. Booyah, America!
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Military, attention to award. Master Chief Petty Officer Michael L. Lentz, United States Navy, distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious service as Command Master Chief, Training Support Department, Leading Chief Petty Officer, Naval School Explosive Ordnance Disposal from August 2014 to July 2019. During this period, Master Chief Lentz expertly led up to 650 joint service students and staff daily, managed 17 divisions, and oversaw the completion of thousands of mission-critical tasks, including 13,000 high-risk evolutions. He routinely served as acting Command Master Chief and Department Head, ensuring no degradation in leadership, ultimately graduating 3,000 explosive ordnance disposal warfighters in support of United States national defense. He led the integration of new training technologies, subsequently reducing academic attrition by 11%, garnered $5 million of interagency funding sponsorships for innovation projects, eliminated 3,000 hours of process redundancies, and validated a $35 million budget. The distinctive accomplishments of Master Chief Lentz culminate a long and distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Navy, and the Department of Defense. Military and civilians, please take your seats. To give you an idea of how crusty Master Chief is, he served under 6 U.S. presidents and during the office of 9 Master Chief Petty Officers of the Navy. He was also around when the cotton gin was invented. Captain Rojas will now present Mike's letter of appreciation from our current Commander-in-Chief, President Donald Trump, our 45th President. Certificate of Appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States of America, EODCM, EWS, Michael Leroy Lentz. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of our grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purpose for which you served. To those who follow in your footsteps, will draw inspiration from your commitment, dedication, and sacrifices made to ensure the protection of our American freedoms. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Donald Trump, Commander-in-Chief. Master Chief Lentz also received similar congratulatory correspondence from the governors of Florida, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy.
Okay, nobody's watching.
I will now read Master Chief Lentz's final retirement order. Per Beeper's order, numbered 0949, message dated 04 April 2019, service member will be transferred to the retired list effective 01 October 2019. The Chief of Naval Personnel extends his congratulations. May you and your family enjoy every success and happiness in the future. Captain Rojas will now present Ms. Angie Lentz and their sons Justin and Colin with certificates of appreciation.
Hey, so before you guys leave, if you look at Webster's dictionary and you look at winning, you can, that picture of right here of Team Lentz is how winning is defined. I'm telling you, I'm so proud of you guys, and you are truly winners. So, thank you.
Naval School Explosive Ordnance Disposal Battalion Officer takes pleasure in presenting this letter of appreciation to Angie, Justin, and Colin Lentz for services set forth in the following citation. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for your unselfish, faithful, and dedicated assistance during your father and husband's naval career. Your unfailing support and understanding have helped immeasurably to make possible your husband and father's 30 years of honorable naval service. Given this 20th day of September 2019, sincerely, D.A. Mariana, Captain. Senior Chiefs Sabo and Frazier will now present Master Chief Lentz with a retirement gift on behalf of the Chiefs Mess and all of the shipmates with whom he has served. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a 30-year Navy veteran, Master Chief Lentz, United States Navy.
Before I do that, give some folks some things. Little Navy tradition there. We got. Special gift. If you didn't know, it's Oscar's birthday today. So we'll sing it later at the social this afternoon. But I happen to have a good friend. He's retired Hull Tech Master Chief Dan Curley. Where are you at, Dan? He makes these homemade lures, and I think you should check that out. It's pretty cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Happy birthday.
Coming over?
Yeah.
Should I get an X-ray first? Oh, yeah, should have known. Oh, this is so badass. Oh, hell yeah! No. Oh, this is so badass. Oh, nice.
On mission, baby. On mission again, anytime.
Thank you.
All right. I may not be looking up into the crowd too much on this speech, you guys. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I apologize for that. And I apologize if I don't hit anybody specifically. But Commodore Rojas, Oscar, cannot thank you enough for flying here from San Diego and speaking today on your birthday. I know Melinda, Eliana, and Amelia
are missing you. I'm sure if you were home with them this weekend, there's a good chance that you'd be grilling for them some of your world-famous better batter, butter-basted backyard barbecue chicken. Did I get it right?
Sort of.
I always get it right. You just tell me I don't. Keep me on my toes.
Because you haven't had a beer yet.
How do you know? You cooked it for us in Guam and loved it, and it was awesome. You had us over, and it was just great. Everything. It's truly. I'm just humbled. It's an honor to have you here in our midst, and to have been a privilege to your influence. If you haven't read Captain Rojas's bio in one of the programs, please do. It only skims the surface as to the tremendous impact he's had on our community, EOD community, national defense, and most of all, the lives of our troops. He'll never admit it, but Captain Rojas is one of the most intuitive leaders, most intentionally in touch with people that we have in the EOD community, and the Navy for that matter. I feel certain EOD's Admiral forthcoming, I hope. Our EOD technicians are in the best of hands with you at the helm, sir. Just cannot thank you enough for all your words and sacrifice your family as well, and just everything you do. Thank you, sir. Happy birthday. All right. Oh man. So it's been a few years, been a skinny minute. So many I've almost forgotten how long I've been in the Navy. See, Chief Fraser, are you out there?
I'm out here, Master Chief.
Do you recall how long I've been in the Navy? How long we've been in the Navy?
How long have we been in the Navy?
Yeah.
All me blooming life. Me mother was a mermaid. And me father, King Neptune. I was born on the crest of a wave and rocked in the cradle of the deep. Seaweed and barnacles be me clothes, and me hair made of hemp. Every tooth in me head is a marlin spike, and every bone in me body a spar. And when I spits tall. I's hard. I is. I am. I are.
I love that stuff. Good old Navy tradition. I'm certainly going to miss that. Thanks, Cliff. He does that every year when we go through induction season. And thanks for showing our new chiefs and aspiring ones how that's supposed to be done. Most of all, I'm going to miss the camaraderie that goes along with all that. It's absolutely incredible reflecting on 3 decades of people in my personal and professional life that have been a part of this journey. All 3 of those decades which are represented in this crowd. I can walk up to every single one of you and cite authentic memories and my adoration for you. But that would take a bit longer in the heat than I think anyone cares to remain. Please know that I am truly honored and grateful that you took the time and expense to be here today. I know that there were many long flights and road trips, including a few RV insertions nearby. Don't get me kicked out of the campground. To each of you, I sincerely acknowledge if it wasn't for each of you and every strand of fiber you've entwined in my soul, I would not be here as I am. So here we go. Thank you to any 50Bs in the bunch from our original cast like Lee Morrison and any other 50Bs or 5331 EOD classmates in the crowd. Any of them out there? I don't think so. Thank you to all my old school Sea Daddies like Mark Verado, Mickey Pierce, JJ, Jim Mitchum, Mark Perry, Steve Shell, many others who coached me along the way. They definitely had their hands full.
You could talk about your first exposure. That's later.
Booyah.
I want to hear it.
Tom Green, my boss these last few years for exhibiting even-keeled management and interesting conversations about livestock tactics. Bob Wimmer, who sat adjacent to Tom and I and showed me that there are others with more administrative prowess than me. Bill Leaf, in from Washington State. Brother, thank you for your wisdom, friendship, and island liberty rides. Scotty Kern for helping me refine my conflict management techniques and lots of fun. Joe Severino for remaining integral to chiefing, even in civilian clothes, for leading my Globja Quality Assurance Department, and trying to get me to PT. Go Globo. Looking forward to this afternoon. Not really, but all the EOD instructors, training leadership, and staff here, just thanks for putting your heart and soul into training our release. It's not like we got a choice. We love it, and we do it because it's next generation. Thank you. It's a lot of stuff going on there behind the scenes to make this school run, and the training department. They're as busy as any ops department at a mobile unit. So thank you all the talented government, civilians, and contractors who also make this place run, like Derek Davis in Underwater, Shane Cruikshank in Training and Database Survival, Hal Gilly in IT, Gordon Robinson, Steve D in Admin, Todd D in Dozer and Maintenance, Jim Mitchum in Ordnance, Steve B in Supply, and so many more. I know I didn't hit everybody, but I know you on a first name basis. All the military support staff like STS-1 Pitcher and MAC Libson who embraced our mission here well outside their rating comfort zones and elevated their leadership skills to higher level. Thanks to all the folks who've been supporting the SMART program in addition to their already demanding duties, Zach Radcliffe, Jose Molina, Tech Sergeant Dejuan, Brandon Zemba, many more. Thanks as well to Eric Frampton in ACC, Greg Carroll, PMS 408, Doc Schiller, Tim V, and Tim Mendenhall from CIOD for their support. My many OICs, chiefs, LPOs, and teammates for having my back many times and completing our missions, whether they were tactical, technical, or administrative. Specifically, my MU-5 teammates during my first series of operational deployments as an EOD platoon leading chief on Det 13, out at Mobile Unit 5, Edgar Allen Rowe, my OIC from Virginia, Rick Hofer, Eric Tice, where you at, Eric, in from Tennessee. Had some tough times together, good stuff. Matt Strong, played guitar. You know when it's time to retire, Matt was an E5, I believe, or E4 when he first got to me, and he just made Master Chief this year, and we couldn't have made a better one. And, so he's grown up, and it's time to retire, So, where did I leave off? Matt Strong, Mike Paluziak, Dan Hatfield. On Detachment 11, Eric Jurgis, Jeff Spangler, John Bentley, Chris Bear, Ian Brody, Glenn Landers, J.P. Delasous. Both of those teams were deployed. The team I just mentioned, Det 11, was the team in Iraq with me, and definitely had some sporty times there. And he read my Bronze Star, and the fact is, there's a whole lot of guys that have deployed a whole lot more than me, and back to back to back to back. In that environment, the context of that award, they deploy again and again, and they're doing it right now. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, all over the place. And it doesn't stop. They don't have a choice. They just do it, and they keep doing it, and it takes a toll on them. So thanks to all those folks. Give them a round of applause. All my other Mobile Unit 6 Charleston teammates and old friends from our earlier days, deployments and exercises like Troy Lawson, Keith Pearson, Big Al Snyder, Big Al, where you at? We've been together for a long time. Happy to still be in step with so many like them. All my joint service brethren like Sergeant First Class Retired Chris Henke and J.C. Garza, who worked with me during my first tour at NAV School in Ground Ordnance Division. How about those donut fights? Is Tim Burnick out? He's not out there, is he, with donuts? Okay. Here we go. Thanks to all the Niceville wrestling team coaches and cadre here. Special thanks to the Kriegers. Brian's the retired chief of the Eglin Air Force Base for being the backbone of the wrestling team year to year. So glad to know you on a different level, and Coach Beerley, those kids are blessed to have him, and the rest of the wrestling network here in the crowd wrestle on. Our great neighbors along the way now, like the Curleys, Hickeys, and Willises in Guam, the Rocks and Howes and Winters in Fredericksburg, and here, Niceville, the Stars and the Bridges, Troy Linton, the Figueroas, and many, many more grand people who provided unequivocal support. Will Hayes, good times and steadfast friendship. Gordon, Raj, where are you guys at? Seriously, those two guys, they should have been EOD techs. Wicked smart dudes, and I'm damn glad you're on our side. Here we go. And the bow leggers. Good. Love you guys. Thanks for everything. Master Chiefs Matt Strawn, Mike Griggs, Eric Neal, Burt Marley, Ian McClure, Ben Stafford, Dwayne Oliveira, and Matt Nevins. Senior Chiefs Cliff Sabo, Bo Lewis, Sam Crumball, Joe Bland, Jonas Toy, Cliff Frazier, Zach Radcliffe, Eddie Medina, Jose Molina, and all the other Master Chiefs and Senior Chiefs that I have had the privilege of working with and seeing rise through the ranks. Thanks for getting her done beyond what very few could handle, and filling me with a genuine feeling that you get it, you got it, and it's time to retire. For those Senior Chiefs I just mentioned and dozens of other solid rounds out across the community, whether Master Chief is in your course or not, you would all be great ones. And I wish you all the best, whatever course you steer, and I will always be in your corner. My door is always open. Chemo, KP, Mike P, Troy C, and all of the other awesome dudes that are enjoying the next chapter with your families, same exact thing to you. Thanks to Sam Crumball, my master of ceremonies, Cliff Frazier, the event coordinator, Mr. Darren Rich, my bosun's mate, Matt Strong on guitar, Cliff Sabo, who put the shadow box together, and so much more. My chaps, HMC Andy Hamilton, who served by my side in Iraq on that deployment. Thanks, Andy. Where are you at? Very glad you could make it out here. My flag detail led by Zach Radcliffe, which you'll see in a few. My side boys already among the mentions. Jonas Toy, Henry Knight, who organized this afternoon's social. I don't know if he made it out to this. Warrant Officer Sutton, the cake maker, and all the other participants. There's a whole lot more behind the curtain that I'm not specifically pointing out. But thank you all for setting up this event. Thanks for the tent and the ice and the water. Hoo-yah. Thank you, Leon and Sherry, for your kindnesses and works, a couple we hold very dear. Where are you guys at? Thank you. Master Chief Danny Parsons, retired. Thank you for being my sounding board for many things these last few years and for your friendships. All the chiefs, all the crew, all the students that are in training right now, you're a shore-sounding band of legends. Thank you. Thanks to all the command triads who shoulder much that most don't know about. Hoo-yah. All the EOD techs on this wall and around the world and their families for their selfless sacrifices. Special place in my heart for Semper Fi Marine Corps. My pop was a Marine, and I had the privilege to serve with 1323 and 33 Marines in Iraq. God bless all the souls we lost, including Lieutenant Corporal Shamron, my communications Marine. Who was killed in Iraq as a result of an IED strike on our convoy. UD-1 Dave Roddy and Paul Darga, he mentioned, were there, also killed in action during that time. Thanks to all who serve, all the warriors and families, and all the souls that grieve. All right. Thanks to all the wives and children behind the curtain who struggle well. To all of you, I'm deeply honored and blessed that we've journeyed together and share lifelong friendships. If I didn't specifically mention you, know that I hold you in the highest regard. I'm going to move on to my family now. Now on to my dad, Dale Lentz, for teachings of character and humility. Through your steadfast example, grounded in faith, he is who introduced me to hunting, fishing, and picking crabs and fixing stuff. He can fix anything. He's just like Gordon or Raj. I know you are with us. Your grandsons would make you so proud. Mom, from the first day I called you from boot camp and said I was going to be a diving bomb tech, which I didn't go in for, which I recollect caused you a little anxiety and confusion. I'm finally retiring. It's real. Thank you for all your love and support along the way, all the clam bakes and recipes, and so much more. Deb, thank you for sharing your love and family with my mom and us all these years. Jim and Pat, in from Charleston, South Carolina. Jim, if you didn't know, he's a retired CMC decommissioned at Charleston Navy base back in the day. Thank you for allowing this crazy sailor to marry your daughter. I'm sure it was against all reservation. And thank you for being with us every step of the way. Thank you for all the lessons, 4th of July's, biscuits and gravy, and so much more. To Ginge, my other brothers and their families, for sharing your lives with Dad and my family and keeping his legacy alive with annual Blue Crab Feast. My brother Dave, forgive me for all the crap I gave you when we were young. Dear God, it was a lot. And then you finally moved to Florida to experience his first hurricane drill. My son's adopted uncle Steve, one of my best buds, Steve Poole, who's been asking me for years, damn boy, are you still in the Navy? a couple minutes left, bro. My sons, Justin and Colin, you guys are awesome. Words can only express how proud I am of you. Justin and his girlfriend, he set her in from Natalie. Justin's pursuing a physician assistant program and is currently employed in a physician assistant's office, and he's a freelance certified athletic trainer. And the dude can deadlift like 550 pounds or something like that. What's your personal best now? It's crazy. Anyhow, did I mention he's here with Natalie? Okay, sorry. Colin is attending Northwest. He's here. He graduated Niceville this year, and he's here with his girlfriend Madeline Rose. Colin, like he said, is quite the entrepreneur, and he wanted me to let everyone know that he's offering rides this weekend if you need it. He said, just call on Colin, 540-656-7606, 540-656-7606. I couldn't be prouder of all of them, as is every person that meets them. I mean, every single person tells Ange and I that your kids are awesome. They're so wonderful, so respectful, and so full of life, and that's absolute truth. I cannot be prouder. All right, most of all, my loving wife, loving, kind, beautiful, and patient wife, Angie, who has been by my side for over 26 years. I know many have scratched their heads saying, how the hell does she do it? Why the hell does she do it? Hell, I've asked myself how and why she does it, and probably don't tell her enough how awesome you are. In essence, she lives an element of the EOD ethos in that she, too, is a quiet professional in our marriage. After leaving our first tour here in 2004, Angie put her medical administration career at Sacred Heart on hold to move to Guam. Most probably don't know it, but among many professional accomplishments, Angie earned her Master's in Medical Administration from the University of Maryland and served as EOD Mobile Unit 5's Command Ombudsman in Guam for Captain Bob Boffman and EODCM Bill Lee, retired, who's here with us today. As such, she not only tended to our home and mothering our wonderful sons, Justin and Colin, while I deployed, and dealt with me when I was home, but she also shouldered the issues of other sailors' families, providing personal counseling and advocacy to command leadership for their welfare. All of you in the military know that the job of our spouses can be a bit taxing, if not more, than going down range. And Angie's job was as taxing as it got. Yet we mostly never admit it. And I'm talking about many spouses. We never admit it. We simply demand they accept it. And they do. There are countless moments that testify to her incredible spirit, her soft heart at work, and love. She's held the fort down for 26 years. You're my rock, my lady, my true north. Thank you from the bottom of your heart for loving me and anchoring me. You're my angel. Booyah. Thanks, man. I think that's about it. Bottom line, none of my success and survival in many cases was possible without the interactions that we have all had together. And that is the Teflon of my soul. Thank you, and I hope to see y'all at Sauna Center.
Flag detail, post. Guys, go ahead and take your seats. The ceremony you are about to see performed will end with the passing of the national ensign to Master Chief Lentz, which you can display in the shadow box. The ensign was flown over the EOD Memorial in front of you.
Detail. About. Face.
I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over higher institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military force in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident, I am arrogant, and I am proud. When I am flown with my fellow banners, my head is held a little higher, and my colors are a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped, I am saluted, I am respected, I am revered, I am loved, and I am feared. For more than 200 years, I have fought on every battle of every war. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the Argonne Forest, the trenches of France, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, the jungles of Guam, Okinawa, Tarawa, Korea, Vietnam, and more. And now in the midst of the fight against terrorist states in the Middle East and terrorism around the world, on unconceivable battlefields, seen by very few and forgotten by most, but those who were there with me, I was there. I led my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill in Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-torn, and tired, but my sailors and Marines, they raised me up and cheered. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I have helped to set free. But it does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it's done so ignorantly by those who do not value the price I paid for their very freedom, it cuts deep. But I am resilient, strong, and I shall transcend. I have slipped the surly bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand guard over the new frontiers of space and our destiny. I have been silent witness to America's finest hour. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to mend my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I am flown half-mast to honor our nation's fallen heroes. And most of all, when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother by the graveside of her fallen son or daughter. I am deeply humbled in honor. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wait, dear Lord. Long may I wait.
Flag detail. Post.
Detail about face. Forward march.
Side boys, lane 2, cover the watch. Today, we paused in a ceremony etched with traditions. We idled the engines, laid the leeward, and later will drink to the foam as Mike transitions to the civilian surface through an unfamiliar version of drifting decompression. We do so to pay respect to one of our shipmates and his family going ashore for their years served.
In the late 1700s, the United States Navy set sail with new ideas, new goals, and a desire to build traditions that would last the test of time. One such tradition honors the years served for leadership, guidance, friendship, and the expertise so freely given throughout the years. Aye, mates. For 30 years, this shipmate has stood the watch. While some of us were asleep in our bunks at night, this sailor stood the watch. While others of us were attending school, this chief stood the watch. And yes, before some of us were even born, your father stood the watch. As the storm clouds of war gathered on the horizons of history, this warrior stood the watch. Even when he often saw his family ashore needing him, he still stood the watch. Today, the side boys are posted and the bosun stands ready to pipe. Mike, for 30 years,
you have stood the watch so your fellow countrymen can sleep soundly under a blanket of freedom and safety. Today, we're here to say, shipmate, the watch stands relieved. Relieved by those you have led, guided, and trained.
Master Chief Lentz will now request permission from the Commodore to go ashore for the very last time.
Commodore Rojas requests permission to go ashore.
Permission granted. Godspeed. Congratulations.
Bosun, stand by to pipe the side. Master Chief Lentz going ashore. Guests, please rise for the departure of a 30-year Navy Master Chief. Master Chief Lentz, United States Navy, retired, departing. Chief Petty Officers, active duty and retired, man the rails. Master Chief and family, retired, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. We invite family and friends to grab a bottle of water, use the restroom if necessary, and take a brief tour through the main hall prior to departing. All are cordially invited for a reception at Tisano's Garlic Grill, 1:30 to 5 p.m. Here in Lexington.
Who you are, Master Chief Lentz?